Hi everybody, this is TJ with the Trend Jumper Trading System and the PTU, Premier Trader University. In this video, I want to discuss some of the current Forex swing trades that I'm in and talk about some results that we've been getting. And I want to start with this particular pair, the pound yen. As you probably know, if you're a Forex trader, the Japanese yen pairs have really caught fire. They're in rally mode, and we've been doing really well with these pairs. And I want to show you how I personally use the Trend Jumper to build a position and to capture some of the strongest moves that happen using daily charts. That is, charts that print once a day. You get the full range from open till close, and that's it. And what that entitles me to do is wait for the market to close, open up my charts, assess my charts, and then either place my trades or manage my trades in some way, shape, or form. It becomes a very simple approach because I don't have to spend a lot of time in front of my charts. Each trade only takes a few minutes to set up and to place with my broker. And then once I'm finished, I can close it and get away from the charts and not be tempted to interfere with the trade. Just to let it play out the way it's supposed to. And Trend Jumper makes it very easy. All you have to do is follow the dots. I showed this last week during our weekly hangout, and I thought I would start with this one, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at the other trades. Some of them very successful, others stopped out with some losses. We'll look at all of them and discuss some results as to where we've come from since the Trend Jumper. So to really tell the story of this trade, we have to go back in time to November 2012, a couple months ago. It was a short trade here. It was on the 8th, and it got short, and it hit the pink line. And when we hit this pink line, oftentimes that's a roadblock, and I will aggressively move my stop and protect myself. So I was able to get my stop down, and it came back up, bouncing off this line, and I stopped out of that trade for a break-even trade. This is something I teach in training. Turned right back around, took a long right here, and this was on the 19th of November. And this trade just stopped out last week on this green bar. And along the way, I was able to get into this trade. This trade here actually came up and then came down to stop out for a break-even trade. Very small trade. It poked up past the second target, and even though that looks really small, remember these are daily charts. That went from 130.187 to the middle target of 133.06. So that was about 120 pips to that middle target. So I definitely captured a little bit on that, enough to break even. It happened so quickly, but then I was able to jump back on board and pick up another trade. And I like to build my position. So while this one is still going, this one hit its full target for 156 pips. It's still trailing. But right here, I'm going to add to my position. I'm going to treat this as an independent trade. My risk-reward ratios are very favorable, 2 to 1. And I'm just going to put on my 2% risk. Whatever my account value is, I'm going to risk 2%, 1% per position, or 2%. Okay, so that one got to 183 pips. And I trailed a second position, and that one just kind of followed along the earlier position. I also grabbed this one, and that was good for another 179 pips. So now I have 3 positions trailing, and you can see when they all stopped out here, I even got into this position. This position is actually still live, and I'm currently in this trade. The other position stopped out right here. The original one picked up 989 pips, and then 709 and 703 for the trailers. So that's about, close to 3,000 pips. Meanwhile, this one here, this one has just hit its second target. I mean, on the nail. And the stop is following the green dotted line. So there's already a risk-free trade here. Meanwhile, another add-on trade zoomed up, hit its target for another 322 pips. This is what I mean by capturing a big move. This happens 1 to 3 times a year with each pair, typically, with daily charts. And by using the Trend Jumper, you can mitigate your risk on each setup. You can take advantage of the setups as they happen even while in a current trade, you can continue the trade, the new setups that occur, and that really makes for a dynamic way to build a position and capture the most out of those moves. You could go in with even a third position if you'd like, or even a fourth position, and you could peel off at each target level a position and then keep a final position to trail. Lots of flexibility with the trend jumper. A lot of you probably saw the results from one of our recent webinars, and I've since updated the result on this pair. Back when you saw it, it was up 3,214 pips, but since then it has nearly doubled. In fact, it has doubled, more than doubled. It's now up 6,459 pips, and that's dating back to the beginning of 2012. And that does not include the live trades that are currently in play. That's just what's closed. So, you know, if this comes up and hits this big target here and this trailer continues to go, then obviously, well, this number is going to keep growing too. All right, let's look at the pound US dollar next. So the pound US had 2,288 pips to finish the year. Currently it's at 21.58. Had a small losing trade. This blue one actually just occurred last week. Couldn't get traction and came back up, but it's being held. I mean, the jump line is containing the price. We're getting another attempt at it at a slightly better price. And trading's like that sometimes. It's kind of like fishing. You throw the hook in the water. Sometimes the fish gets away. Sometimes you catch a fish. And it's only the third setup this year, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with the pound US. But this trade got short yesterday from 60.84, targeting 59.06. All right, so while we're on the pound pairs, let's take a look at the pound Aussie. The trend jumper came out. We posted 3,454 pips. Currently, we're at 42.55. So there's been some nice trades coming out of some choppiness. Had a really nice move to the downside here. This was, you know, 800 or 900 pips. Had a break-even trade. We had a small loss right here, small loss right here. Turned around, picked up a nice strong gain. This one was good for 223 pips. And then last week, the short trade triggered in. It has since moved down. And this is going to have us kick in our money management level. We're going to start trailing the green line. So at the time that that happened, we weren't able to improve our stop. Want to give the trade some room. But now that it's moving lower, when this bar closes, we're going to move our stop lower, down from here to about here. If we get to the second target, we'll lock in a little bit and take the risk off the trade, and then we'll peel off our half our position at the third target and trail the rest. All right, next up, the euro yen. It was at 6,020, one of the hottest markets of 2012, and it remains hot. Currently, it's at 6,590. I've had some of these trades close since the last result. This one stopped out, but we were able to jump right back in right here. And in just a matter of days, it was out at its target for 182 pips. And then when I last checked it, the trailer was up 346 pips, but now it's even up further. It's all the way up to here. So this is kind of deceptive. I have not yet included this last trailer, and once I do, it's probably going to push us up close to 7,000 pips, the euro yen. And one thing I want you to just be aware of and to notice is how all these charts pretty much look the same. The setups look the same. The trade plan's the same. And we're going to go from maybe some choppy action like this sometimes, and inside of here we'll be able to pick up some winners. We'll get some small losses. We might even get some break-even trades and some cancel trades, and we'll pretty much get a mix of all those things. But then we're going to ultimately catch the big, huge move like so. And this is why we trade this the way we do with Trend Jumper. The important thing is to put on very small risk on each and every trade and let your account grow little by little. And then down the road, you'll still be putting on small risk, but it'll be larger amounts. It'll be larger position sizes, but it will still represent a small risk as far as the ratio of what you're risking to your overall trade capital. That's one of the secrets to success at trading Forex, in my opinion. All right, let's take a look at one of the more difficult markets to trade as of late, the Aussie US. This market is just fraught with choppy price action, up and down, long bars in both directions, and wicks on either side. And this makes for a difficult market to trade. However, it has been still quite profitable. You just have to know the trade plan and really stick to your guns. There, as choppy as this looks, you're going to see that there's actually quite a few winners. There's going to be some losses too, and you definitely need to trade through this chop. If you look at a longer term chart on the Aussie US, it's trading in a pretty loose range. We're down a little bit since the beginning of the year. There was this one trade here, couldn't get through the pink line, came back up and stopped out. So now we're going to see if we can get higher. Currently in this trade here, since the 4th of January, it's already hit its money management level. So stops are following the green line, and the green line has almost got us to the point where we're at break even, close to break even. And then there's a position here that we could add on to. So if the Aussie US does take off to the upside, we're going to add another position right here. But it's going to have to break through some resistance to get there. If you look back, it's going to have to get through this level along the way to these targets. And if it does, we could be in for a nice big move to the upside. So that's the Aussie US. Let's take a look at one more. I realize that there are quite a few more than just the half dozen we're going to look at in this video, so I will come back and review other Forex pairs next few days, so make sure you check back, and I'll go ahead and cover some of the other pairs. But let's take a look at one more before we finish this video. Okay, we're going to take a look at the Swiss yen. This is a pair that doesn't get a lot of attention, but it has been super, like all the yen pairs, but the Swiss yen has just been amazing. We're in this run here, obviously coming all the way back to November, and you could see a nice big winner here, a nice big winner here. This one just finished, and then just got long on this trade, and that one zoomed to full target. I did have to make a small key level adjustment on this trade, and I'm going to do that sometimes, especially on Forex, because the risk reward is so nice that I'm willing to give up a little bit if it means I could possibly stay in the trade. So I'll zoom in and I'll show you. The stop was right below the setup bar here, and when I looked to my left, I saw a little wick lower on that red bar. So I moved my stop a little bit below that, but that put me right on top of the jump line. So I moved it just a little bit further and got it under the jump line as well. And what happened was this came all the way down, it pulled down, it would have stopped me out, but because I adjusted around my indicator and around my key level, I was able to stay in that trade, and it just hit its full target. I mean, it doesn't get any more perfect than that. And of course now an add-on trade triggering in as well. So the Swiss yen continuing to perform really well. And actually I was just reviewing this, and this trade, it just missed its full target by a few pips. You can't really see it unless you look closely, but the full target was at 98.25, and it got as high as 98.22 or 21.9. And I saw that happening. That was happening right before I went to sleep, and I was just, a few pips behind my full target, and I went ahead and took off one of my positions there. So let that play out and see where it ends up. I have not posted the results of these two trades yet. So it was 3,908 pips. We've since had some really nice moves to the upside. Now we're at 4,742 pips. And then this one here, this was good. This one not quite hitting its full target, but almost getting there, but definitely in a risk-free and profitable position. And hopefully it's going to move higher and continue on up, continue the trend of the upside. So these two trades not posted yet, but you could see some significant growth in profits on the Swiss yen, dating all the way back to the beginning of 2012. All right, so we'll take a look at some other pairs shortly. Just check back in the next day or two or three. I'll put some other pairs up, and we'll take a look at how some of our other favorite pairs have been doing, and maybe we'll even look at some other pairs that we haven't paid a lot of attention to. This is TJ with Trend Jumper and the Premier Trader University. See you next time.